He ain't break Michael Jordan's record for championships.
Yeah.
He ain't got the championships.
Yeah.
He ain't got the league MVPs.
Individual
He don't have
sport.
any of that.
It's not an individual sport.
All right. Well, we talking individuals, though. But we talking individuals right now.
Yeah.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan was called God in gym shorts. I'm going to repeat that. God in gym shorts by Larry Bird. Let's remember that.
The Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate isn't going anywhere, and every fresh round seems to crank the volume higher. Each time fans revisit it, the stakes feel bigger and the opinions sharper. That's because the conversation blends numbers, eras, and legacy into one high-pressure mix that sparks instant reactions. It's more than a barbershop argument now. It's a rolling headline that keeps sports talk in motion. This edition features Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins lining up on opposite sides, each bringing a distinct voice to the table. Stephen A. delivers a crisp, punchy style that cuts straight to the claim and the counterclaim. Perkins arrives with the perspective of a champion big man, leaning on locker room insight and the weight of lived experience. Put together, their back and forth creates the kind of televised friction that keeps viewers glued and the comments section buzzing. To the heart of it sits a question that has split basketball audiences for years. Who truly stands as the greatest of all time? LeBron James offers unmatched longevity, elite versatility, and a career that spans 2 full decades at the top. Michael Jordan set the modern standard for dominance, shaping the culture, the crunch time mythos, and the championship bar everyone still measures. Both cases are strong, which is why the discussion keeps returning with new angles and renewed energy that I end this breakdown. We'll move step by step to what was said, tracking the most important moments of the exchange between Stephen A. and Perkins. We'll note how each claim is framed, what evidence is cited, and where the logic lands. We'll also mark the context, era changes, rules, pace, and competition, so the comparisons stay fair and clear. Each quote adds a fresh piece to the puzzle and shows how both sides read the same history through different lenses. That be why the conclusion. You'll see a structured case for why Michael Jordan still holds a crown in this conversation. The argument leans on peak dominance, championship impact, and the lasting imprint he left on how the game is played and sold. You'll also see why LeBron's resume remains the most compelling challenge the throne has ever faced. Now, let's get into the details and follow the evidence where it leads.
It's a truculent individual to do with attitude because he don't want to hear what other people gotta say.
Stephen A. Smith doesn't waste a second before making his stance clear. From the very beginning, he directs his focus on Kendrick Perkins, calling him out for leaning more on tone and personality than on actual substance. According to Stephen A., Perkins has a way of using his sheer presence, booming delivery, and confident energy to sway people toward his side of an argument. But Stephen A. makes an important point. Energy and volume cannot replace facts, context, or proof. With this pushback, he draws a defining line that sets the tone for everything that follows in the debate. What Stephen A. is essentially saying is this: while Perkins may know how to captivate an audience with charisma and boldness, that alone doesn't make his claims bulletproof. Sports fans are used to strong personalities dominating the conversation. But strength of personality should never be mistaken for strength of truth. This moment matters because it reflects a broader reality that we often see not only in television debates, but in the sports world as a whole. The louder voice sometimes overshadows a more logical argument, and Stephen A. is determined not to let that happen on his watch. This approach also shines a light on how basketball debates, especially the timeless discussion about the greatest of all time, often unfold. Supporters of LeBron James are known for leaning into emotion and admiration when building their case. They highlight his unprecedented longevity, his unmatched versatility across positions, and the impressive fact that he's remained at an elite level for 2 decades. These points are undeniably powerful, and when delivered with conviction, they can feel persuasive. But Stephen A. reminds everyone watching that emotion cannot replace evidence. Passion may ignite the debate, but only facts can settle it. And when the numbers are laid out clearly, Michael Jordan's resume continues to speak louder than any passionate plea. His 6 NBA championships and 6 finals appearances remain one of the rarest feats in professional sports. His flawless record on basketball's biggest stage have become the gold standard that every superstar is compared to. Beyond just winning, Jordan dominated the 1990s, an era filled with physical defense, grueling competition, and Hall of Fame rivals. His ability to rise above that environment not only cemented his individual greatness, but also redefined what it meant to be a global sports icon. That BY emphasizing these facts. Stephen A. essentially tells Perkins and the audience that debates cannot be won by sheer force of delivery. You can raise your voice, repeat your narrative, or try to rally people with enthusiasm, but without evidence, the argument collapses, and the evidence, as Stephen A. sees it, continues to tilt heavily in Jordan's favor. His dominance wasn't built on emotion or theatrics. It was written in championships, MVPs, defensive honors, and cultural impact that remains unmatched. In this critical moment, Stephen A. exposes one of the key flaws in the GOAT debate, the tendency to let charisma overshadow data. His pushback not only elevates his argument, but also mirrors a larger battle happening among fans worldwide. The truth, as Stephen A. frames it, is simple. When the passion fades and the facts remain, Jordan's superiority is undeniable.
He's gonna scare you into believing what he believes. It ain't working with me today.
By opening the exchange in this way, Stephen A. Smith sends a clear message about how he intends to navigate the discussion. He is not stepping into this debate armed with theatrics or emotional appeals. He is anchoring his case in substance. That decision is no small detail. In fact, it sets the foundation for everything that follows. When it comes to a conversation as charged and enduring as the GOAT debate, Stephen A. is reminding both Perkins and the audience that volume and energy alone cannot tip the scales. This approach is crucial because debates about greatness in sport have a tendency to spiral into a contest of delivery rather than a contest of evidence. Too often, the loudest argument is mistaken for the strongest one, and the most confident voice is confused with the most accurate perspective. Stephen A. makes it clear from the outset that he is refusing to let this happen. His strategy is to strip away the noise and direct the spotlight toward facts, records, and context, the kind of material that actually defines legacy. And that's what makes this step so important. The GOAT conversation isn't about vibes, emotions, or who can sound more convincing in the moment. It's about history, what happened on the court, who dominated when it mattered, and which career accomplishments withstand scrutiny no matter how the argument is framed. It's about context, understanding the era, the rules, the competition, and the environment that shaped the player's achievements. And above all, it's about undeniable accomplishment, numbers and results so overwhelming that they silence even the strongest counterpoints. Stephen A.'s decision to begin here is essentially a declaration of strategy. He is saying that this debate will not be decided by tone, but by truth. And in doing so, he forces Kendrick Perkins and anyone else entering the conversation to either meet him on the ground of evidence or risk having their claims dismantled piece by piece.
Is this LeBron James was a pass-first dude. We understand his game.
In this particular moment, Stephen A. Smith makes a move that often goes unnoticed when people hear his critiques of LeBron James. Instead of launching straight into comparison or criticism, he pauses to acknowledge LeBron's greatness. He essentially gives him his flowers, making it clear that LeBron's impact on basketball is not up for debate. According to Stephen A., LeBron James is unquestionably one of the most gifted athletes ever to step on a basketball court, and his talent, versatility, and longevity are undeniable. This acknowledgement is significant because it shows that Stephen A.'s goal is not to diminish LeBron in order to elevate Jordan. It's to engage the debate with fairness and balance. Be why doing this, Stephen A. sets himself apart from those who approach the GOAT conversation as if it's a zero-sum game. Too often, people assume that if you argue against LeBron as the greatest, you're automatically discrediting everything he's accomplished. Stephen A. dismantles that idea. He emphasizes that celebrating Michael Jordan as a standard of ultimate greatness does not mean stripping away LeBron's rightful place among the legends. LeBron's career is decorated with 4 championships, multiple MVP awards, and a long list of records that cement his status as a generational force. That resume alone would put him above nearly anyone in basketball history. But here is where Stephen A. draws a crucial distinction. There's a difference between greatness and ultimate greatness. LeBron James is, without question, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. However, Michael Jordan represents something else entirely. The pinnacle, the measuring stick, the unreachable standard that defines the very idea of basketball supremacy. Where LeBron has carved out a remarkable legacy, Jordan has built a blueprint that others are still measured against. Stephen A. makes it clear that LeBron belongs in the same tier as other all-time icons, such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and Magic Johnson. That in itself is a monumental achievement. To even stand in that company proves how extraordinary LeBron's career has been. But Jordan exists in a category just above, a level of dominance and cultural impact that remains untouched. And that, Stephen A. argues, is the difference between being an all-time great and being the greatest. What makes Stephen A.'s framing so effective is that it avoids disrespect while still holding firm to reality. He doesn't deny LeBron's brilliance. Instead, he honors it, but refuses to rewrite history. He positions himself as fair but resolute. Someone who can give credit where it is due while reminding everyone that accolades, records, and achievements, as incredible as they may be, still don't eclipse Jordan's crown, in other words, being recognized as second does not mean being slighted. It means being part of a select group of athletes who have forever changed the sport. Stephen A.'s message is clear. LeBron's greatness is unquestionable, but Jordan's ultimate supremacy remains untouchable.